Greetings, YouTube. I don't think I've ever spoken about wrestling on my channel before. It wouldn't shock me. I'm not a fan. I never have been. When I was a kid, it just didn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. Then it blew up in the late 70s and the 80s, and it became something that it is today, though it doesn't quite have the popularity it did once. But my disdain for the sport is not indicative of a lack of respect for those that are part of it, the wrestlers. Now, I know people give the wrestlers crap because it's a predetermined match. Who cares? A ballet is predetermined. A play is predetermined. A classical concert is predetermined. Stunt work in a film is predetermined to within a split second. And no one gives them crap for that. I left the comment about stunt work for the last for a reason. Because that's what wrestling is. Wrestling is stunt work. But it's stunt work that they have to do day after day after day. It isn't just for those, 6 to 12 weeks of shooting, and then they get a break. No. These guys do this kind of thing night after night, particularly if they're young and hungry and unknown. But even when they get big, and their name starts to be spoken, they still have to keep up that grind. There's no off-season for wrestling like every other massive sport out there, where people have a chance to back down and relax and heal from the previous season. I mean, even I've got a break in the last week. I split my finger open twice at work, but I have a 4-day break before I have to go back and run those same parts again. At least I've got a break. My hand will be fine by the time I get back. Wrestlers don't have that. And if they do really well in a match and it draws a lot of attention, their draw may even be worse. And to stay in the kind of shape they're in, well, let's be honest, there's a whole lot of steroid use in the wrestling sphere, and I've heard there's a whole lot of recreational drugs as well. Some folks become addicted to the painkillers, which they kind of have to chew like candy a lot of the time because they're in so much pain. Because they're beating themselves, not figuratively, but literally every single frigging day. So why do I bring this up? Because wrestlers in the age bracket of 45 to 54, my age bracket, have a mortality rate 2.9 times higher than the average for men for that same bracket. It's even higher than football, which is often seen as one of the most brutal of the professional sports. But wrestling's worse. Not to mention the amount of damage they do to their brains, just like the football players do. So you combine brutal schedules, crushing abuse, steroid use, drug use, probably traumatic brain injuries thrown in on top of it like a crap cherry on top of a fecal cake, and it's not a real shock that wrestlers die young. It's sad. But it's what the public wants now, isn't it? They want to see those guys jumping off the rails, diving head first right into the middle on top of somebody else. They want to see slams. They want to see people tossed out of the ring. They want to see arms and legs pulled into directions that they were never meant to go. And even if it is stunt work, it's grueling. And it results in pulls and strains and sprains. It results in broken bones and cuts and contusions and brain injuries. For people's entertainment. I find that kind of bizarre and depressing. Now, I don't watch any professional sport. I never have. The closest I ever came was when I was had a brief dalliance with professional boxing, because I was a big Mike Tyson fan before he went off the rails and became a rapist and started trying to bite off people's ears. But other than that, I never had an interest. And now, in retrospect, I'm kind of ashamed with the fact that I was a fan of professional boxing on any level. It's not healthy to sit back and watch people hurt themselves for our entertainment. I think I'm opposed to all sorts of things that at one time I might have thought were very cool. I think the closest thing I might have any respect to is kind of like the obstacle course kind of things that they do in like Japan and stuff. Because it's not head to head, it's one person trying to outthink and outmaneuver an obstacle course. But football, rugby, boxing, many martial arts, MMA of course, and wrestling are all brutal. People get hurt and they die young. And I think they deserve better than that. I think they deserve to be treated much better than we have been. And I don't really have a closing on this one, folks. It just depresses me that for our entertainment, we're willing to watch people slowly kill themselves.